Hey sports fans, welcome down to Sweetwater High School for the Lions Classic Club
Home
Tournament.
of the Red Devils.
Home of the Red Devil. Don't be, I said podcast number one, don't be bringing no devil around me. I'm a good Catholic boy. And just like that, Herm Edwards once again is golden. Christian Pedersen, Aaron Burgin. It's Bergen. It's hyphenated.
It is not hyphenated. Put some respect on my name.
Christian Peter Pedersen and Aaron Bergen.
Okay, there you go.
Full-time hoops, one of Mr. CPED. That's what you really need to know us as. We are your San Diego guys basketball high school hoops authority. I say guys basketball because the stunt double version of us does the girls basketball game with Braden and Haseen. But we got 8 games going on here today. We've got 2 or 3 other tournaments going on over winter break. So
lots and lots of basketball.
They've jumped straight to plaid, and they are now going at full-on ludicrous speed. Yeah, they're at full-blown ludicrous speed in terms of last 2 weeks we talked about. Not that much has happened. Now it's
everything's
oh
happening.
My goodness, everything is happening. So with that being said, let's give out some game balls.
Okay.
We have one that literally just happened.
Goodness,
so
yeah.
let you give that one out.
Okay, so first game ball we're going to give out is to Crawford. First of all, the Crawford as a team just pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the season so far, beating San Diego Academy 57-55. They were actually in control of this game throughout, up 20-4 at one point. Really looked the part of the victor in this game until SCA made a really strong comeback. Took the lead with 6.4, which gives us the backdrop for our game ball to Kevin Carrillo, a senior for Crawford, drives down the right baseline, pulls up, hits a 27-foot shot without even looking at the basket, and it is nothing but in the bottom of the net. They get the 2-point upset. Huge performance.
I see.
And I'm going to give it back to you because I know that you have a slew of game balls.
I'm going to start rapidly shooting these out. I like to cover the football. It's easy to give out one game ball. Oh, that kid rushed for 180 yards or something like that. Yeah. Basketball, a lot more games during the week and a lot more schools. So I'm just going to start rapidly shooting out game balls.
Do it.
Preuss for beating Santana. Game ball to those kids. We've seen them the last couple of years kind of be on that fringe.
They're closing in.
Next one, SFC, 20-point win over Poway. Poway, previous week, beat San Marcos. So either that will be a fluke the further we look away from it, or that'll be a really good win for SFC.
It's a dominant win for Santa Fe Christian. Yes.
Next one, Bonita Vista, although I've been told to just call them Bonita. Apparently nobody calls them Vista other than white boys from La Jolla.
And black guys from Sherman Heights.
Yeah, okay. So 65-60 over Esco. That's a big win for them. And that's a program that last year kind of really felt the effects of graduation. So they're building back towards something. Carlsbad over Mount Miguel. We had talked about Mount Miguel being that fringe. Where do they fit into that conversation of top 10 because of who they're playing? Carlsbad needed a win very badly.
That's actually a really good win because, those are 2 of the top teams in Division III. So that was potentially a championship preview between those 2 teams. And for Carlsbad to do that without their starting forward, Brogan Petricini, that's a big win for them.
Absolutely. Last game ball I will give out is to Gage Sanders and Steel Canyon for beating University City. Couple big wins for them. Also, just got to shamelessly plug that they are now state champions in football. So anytime that school just keeps winning, it starts to feel a little unfair.
And you know who's the happiest person about Steel Canyon winning the football championship?
Their basketball coach, because they now get Thomas Fishburne
right back, exactly.
Yeah, Fish nasty, though. Aaron?
All right, here we go. Couple of game balls. We've got to give one to our new #1 team, Torrey Pines. 2nd championship in a row this weekend. They win the North County Classic over San Marcos. That's a big performance from Bryce Pope, who was the MVP of the tournament.
All hail the Ponte.
Exactly. Got to give a couple of game balls out to Mount Miguel, even though they took an L to Carlsbad.
That's what we're talking about. So many games in one week.
So last night they took an L, but then tonight they bounced back against Hilltop. 40-point win there. That was a big-time win. 40 points, yes. Coronado's had a couple of early season victories. I'm going to give them a game ball for their 30-point thrashing of Fallbrook. Fallbrook's head coach, Ryan Smith, a good friend of mine, said that he really thought that that Miles Manning and Caden Gentry had strong games for the Islanders, so that bodes well for them.
They're building something out there.
Yeah, they are. I'm going to give another game ball to Army-Navy, not for a win, but for a near upset of then #1 Vista, 71-69 early in the week. 54 points between two guys, J.C. Kanawate and Albert Pichardo, two players originally from the Dominican Republic, really getting it done for Army-Navy early in the season. The Warriors are down in terms of personnel around them, but those two are going to play hard and put up big numbers all year.
We've seen an Army-Navy team literally roll 5 deep into the playoffs and
almost win.
Yeah. So maybe that's really not an issue for a team like that you could say has military discipline because of something about their name. Man, just in general, we're starting to settle in to see a little bit more of who's the better, who's the not quite as good. But just go bouncing off of these game balls. This is the first time we've ever really gotten to talk about this with a duplicate team on both ends of the game ball with Mount Miguel. So that kind of leads me to my jump ball question this week of game prep. And for teams, for you looking at somebody, like what's going on here behind us? 4 days, 4 games in a row. Sometimes you're playing at noon, which you don't normally play. So when you get into this rapid fire tournament succession and you're somebody who's cruising at 30,000 feet, not there at the games, how do you really pick and choose how do you sift through it all and see who had a good actual tournament out?
Well, first you got to look at, where these teams fall by the end of the tournament time. We can tell that Torrey Pines, is probably the #1 team in the county because they've gone 10 wins without loss and they've beaten a bunch of our teams that were in the top 10. For other teams, you just have to look at common opponents. You look at margins of victory, and you kind of get just a slight pulse of what's going on. And you start to tinker with the rankings, moving teams up and moving teams down. A team like Mount Miguel right on the doorstep, but then taking a loss to Carlsbad team that, entered the game 2-4. But Carlsbad has just beaten 2 of their biggest opponents in Division III. So you know that Carlsbad isn't that, 0-4 team that started, of course, because they played such a strong schedule. So we talked about this last week in regards to the mixed bag of the rankings early in the season. But ultimately, by the end of the next couple of weeks, we're going to get a good idea of, teams that are coming in 7-3 versus teams that are 3-7.
Let's take a little bit beyond the rankings, because 7-3 isn't always going to get you in the top 10 like a Mount Miguel. Could be 7-3. They're not going to be in our top 10. So someone like Crawford, you just categorize them as having a huge
That's
upset.
A big upset.
But if that's the only win that they get in this tournament, is this tournament still a win for them because they got that big of an upset?
I would say it would be.
Okay, so that's where I just want to shed some light on how do people really dive into this and understand.
And you got to understand, certain programs have certain expectations.
Exactly, within a D3 expectation, within a D5
Exactly. Let's say let's talk about a team like Crawford. Crawford's in D4, have had years of futility. They've got a brand new coach, Jason Bird. They're playing a Division III opponent.
Word, by the way.
Yeah, the Bird. And they get an upset. Like you said, they may not win another game the rest of the tournament, but the fact that they were able to get one against a team that's been a little bit down but has been improving over the years, that really is, you can say there is a moral victory in that tournament.
Speaking of improving over the years.
Oh, goodness.
I'm not letting this man go without getting him a quick hi on the podcast.
Oh, this guy.
He should need no introduction, but he's got a new school this year. Davian Faber, head coach, Christian basketball. Coach, we're just kind of talking about tournament play right now and how you're going to look at some teams, they're 10-0, they won this tournament, that's the second tournament they've won. But for the teams that maybe aren't at that open division level, for someone like yourself who's in the D1 race, or in the D2 race, or in whatever, how do you really rank the moral, like the win and the loss of we weren't 2-2, but that's a win for us? I know that you've been there as a coach building up a program, so what's the mentality there?
Well, more so strength of schedule. Strength of schedule tells everything, you know what I mean? Like the ranking came out today, and I thought, okay, I should have been number 10. I looked at everybody's strength of schedule, and I was like, okay, I'm cool, I'm number 11. It is what it is, Santa Fe Christian had 3 losses. They had 3 major losses to really good programs. My losses were to really good programs, but not like theirs. And Santa Fe Christian, they're a good ball club, We haven't done anything, we're still trying to get there. So if I can be number 11, I'm okay with it.
And well, you talked about strength of schedule, and you talked about the fact that teams teams that challenge themselves should be rewarded. Now, taking that divisions lower, Division 3, Division 4, Division 5, what do you want to, if you were a coach at a D4 team, what would you say would be like an appropriate schedule strength, and what would be considered a victory for a program at a lower level below the big dogs?
Hey, for a Division 4 program, Crawford beating San Diego on a 25-foot shot is huge. It's huge. Other than that, if you Division 4, I hate to say it, but hey, stay in your lane. I had to work my way up.
I just feel like this is really fresh for you to be saying that only a year and a half off of being a couple divisions down, but I like the intensity.
Hey, I had to work my way up.
Yeah, no,
when I was Division 4, I called him all the time. How come I'm not ranked? He told me, stay in my lane. Do what you can do after these tournaments.
So these tournaments will be done in about 2 weeks. We'll be past the tournaments into league and whatnot. So just take us inside, give us a little inside peek at what the mentality is out right now for the Patriots.
Well, ours is just get better every day. Keep learning, learn how to finish games, learn how to play hard every possession. In the past, they haven't always done that, settle for too many three-pointers, Now we're just learning how just to play. Don't have to call a bunch of plays. Let's just get out there and run and play defense. Stop our guy from scoring while we score.
And you've got a couple of big pieces that you've got to integrate after the break. Talk about how you fit Johnny Williams, and then also how you fit Christian West into what you've been doing with the current group.
Oh man, John Williams is amazing, man. He's 6'4", maybe 170. If we could put like all his uniforms on him, But hey, he's tenacious rebounder, great mid-range shooter. Christian West is a guy that can walk in the gym and touch the top of the square. Now we got to get him to.
I can do that if I jumped on your shoulders.
Yeah, he can walk in the gym, and he can get up there. We just got to put his whole game together, teach him how to rebound, as well as play hard. A lot of these guys we have never been in a system where they've been asked to play hard the whole game, pretty much. And we're pressing.
And that's a real thing, to actually go wire to wire, running and working your butt up and down the court. It can be a real transition from, I played 12 minutes hard on the court for another 15 of just kind of being out there to play some defense.
And we pressed the whole game.
Coach, you feel comfortable sticking around for some game picks?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear.
All right.
So consider him Tommy Morris for the week. He'll fill in on that guest spot.
I'm sorry, Tommy. I was playing. I was playing. You didn't pick me, man.
Ouch.
You got to pick me, Tommy. I'll be cool with it.
Ouch. I like you. You're cool. You can stick around. First game, San Diego, Sweetwater. This one will be going down Wednesday, 5 p.m. right here in this gym.
I was really confident about that game until this happened, and now I'm really not so sure. I'm still going to go out on a limb and say that San Diego gets it done. Losses like this can be a wake-up call to teams, knowing that they can't just come out and show up and win games. You have to actually go and compete. I think they learned from the loss that they just suffered, and I think they get it done.
I think San Diego will learn from this loss, but I think Sweetwater with Coach Jesse, they just have too much. His firepower. He's getting up almost 33s a game. They don't hold nothing back. I don't know if San Diego can keep up with that.
Yeah, Sweetwater's not playing around. We picked against them last week. They got the win against El Cap, so I will also take Sweetwater. Our next game, also in this tournament, El Camino, Point Loma. Yeah. El Camino is a team that is continuously on that fringe of, are they good enough? Are they great enough? Why aren't they winning the big games? This would be a big win for them.
I think they get this one. I think El Camino, I saw them, claw back from a 15-point deficit against a really good Temecula Valley team in the end of the Coast News Classic. Point Loma, a team with a lot of size, guard play, is a bit susceptible to pressure. That's El Camino's, that's what they pride themselves out. Pressuring the ball, getting in transition, and I think they win this one. I think they win this one by a healthy margin.
Hey, I agree. El Camino's tough, Jalen Flanagan, Antonio Hale, although he did twist his ankle today, I heard he should be back. You know, El Camino all the way with this one.
Yeah, El Camino, I was surprised by the assets that they have around Jalen Flanagan this year.
DeAndre McNair has been a big surprise this year.
And their ability to just move the ball lightning quick up and down the court really was impressive to me. So I will also go with El Camino. Our next game, out to the East County, Valhalla, Eastlake.
Okay.
Battle of big and white. On the interior perimeter, Ramsey Sultan versus Brian Lienhart and Grant Holman. I'm gonna go with Valhalla on this one.
Okay. I'm going to go with Eastlake on this one. I think that Eastlake was, during the first tournament, the Hilltop tournament, they were dealing with a bunch of injuries. I like their backcourt pieces. Jared Isaacson, really good shooter. I really like Mark Anthony Guerrero, the junior point guard that they have. And also Holman and Leonard are solid players. I mean, they're baseball guys, but they really do get it done on the boards. And, you know, I had a chance to see Valhalla. Ramsey Sultan, also known as Can't Guard Me.
That's the dude. Okay.
Yeah, he got it written on his shoes. There's not much really around him, though. And I know that the game is, while the game is at Valhalla, which is historically a tough place to play, I'm going to give it to the Titans on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Valhalla. I got to stick with my East County teams. You know, hey, East County, we stick together,
Hey, that's still a rationale behind it. That's more than
I learned that last week when I picked a non-East County team to beat Monte Vista, and DeAndre McHale called me and said, hey, Coach, it's East County now, man. You got to stick with us. So, hey, East County.
All right, well, this one will just throw you for a loop then, because this is way north versus way south in this game. Rancho Buena Vista, San Ysidro. Two teams that are up and coming.
Him take this one.
I'll take it first. I'll go with San Ysidro. I like their athleticism. I know they're on the younger side, but I like what they got. I go San Ysidro in this one.
I'm gonna go RBV. I think what Coach Abrams has done, man, since he's been there has been wonderful. He actually has a bit of a following now. You know, people actually coming to the games. He has young kids playing hard, and he has them believing. You know, nice young core.
And, you know, to talk about the core, you know, San Ysidro had a really big loss to their core earlier this week when Alton and Aiden Dubois checked out of school. That's one of their leading scorers, you know, and one of their key reserve guys off of the team. So I think they come in a little shorthanded, and I think RBV really showed something in some of their games in the Hilltop tournament that they do defend, that they will get after it on offense. And, you know, they've got pieces. I mean, it's not like this team is bereft of talent. They actually do have a lot of talent. So I'm going to go with RBV as well.
Our final game, and I'm glad you're here because this makes him exempt from having to answer. San Diego, Mount Miguel.
All right. I get to abstain again. Yeah,
okay. I'll take this one first. Want to give a retroactive, because I forgot to give him a game ball, Thomas Marcus. You issued an APB earlier this week for Thomas, wanted on 2 counts of aggravated ballistic murder and murder in the first.
And disrespect.
And disrespect. And 32 other counts of minor assault for the buckets that he put up that day. If you don't know who Thomas Marcus is, he's nasty on every sport at every court that he seems to walk on. So the pieces are there, but we've also talked about Mount Miguel being a really good team. I would say this one is close to being a toss-up, but I like San Diego.
Okay. I like San Diego as well. Now, I wouldn't say it's a toss-up. I actually think San Diego will dominate the game. Okay. I've had a chance to watch both at length, and I think San Diego just has more defensively than Mount Miguel does. You know, San Diego, offensively, they're both pretty high-powered, but you got Thomas Marcus, you got a young Aaron Bergen. You got some guys.
Does talent skip a generation in the family?
No. Talent was firmly in this generation, but on the mother's side.
Okay,
yeah, she's good. I saw her give some to her daughter, plus hold the camera and not even shake it.
Well, rumor is that they met when she posted 20 on him and just kind of walked away going, yeah, call me when you're ready for a real game.
It was like loving basketball. I dominated her. She walked off the court. I said, hey, double or nothing. We had AJ 9 months later.
Hey, love story. That's how it's supposed to happen, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I met my girlfriend for disrespecting her lacrosse team on the job. So yeah, like it goes. Yeah.
Honey, please forgive me for embarrassing both of us right now.
Don't worry, I will somehow find a way to embarrass myself more on the way out of this podcast. Coach, thank you very much for being on with us and voicing your opinions in a very calm and democratic fashion, and not just blasting us for being idiots and not knowing what we're talking about.
No, you guys are perfect, man. I love this, man. I can't wait till they come out, man. Tuesday morning.
Very nice. Aaron?
Thank you guys.
That's it?
It's like 9:30 p.m. We've been here all day. I think we should just go sleep in the snack bar, wait for tomorrow to start, watch another round of games.
You go sleep, I'm gonna go watch the rest of this one.
Oh, no, that's true. We got highlights coming out from all of these games. We got interviews and top recruits coming out. And we will see you guys next week from the Holiday Classic, maybe?
I think we might have an appearance there, yes.
I think that sounds like a really good place.